When you get excited about something, we have natural energy that pushes us through. But what happens when that energy fades? What happens when you start to get frustrated? What happens when you start to feel like a grind and things get grueling and they get gritty and they get tough and it gets harder to move through the process every single day? What happens then? Most people quit.
That frustration and that hunger of like wanting to figure out a way to get out of this cycle, that burning hunger, that's where it all comes from. When you don't know where you're going to pay your rent, you do not have an escape route. Going through that struggle, that is everything. Are you alive? Can you see? Can you talk? Can you think? Get better. Get better at whatever you're doing. So you suck at it now. Everybody sucks at everything when they first start. That's the whole thing about getting good at something. Whatever the you want to do, if you suck at it, get better.
I want to see if I can get out of those situations when there's no hope. When all else is gone and all else has failed, that's when you see who the fuck you are. When there's no hope, motherfucker, make some hope. And let me see what you do with that.
When you start out on a path to anywhere, the first day, the first minute, you're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to kick ass. And then you take another step and another step. And maybe you get to Thursday or Friday and you're like, fuck, this is pretty fucking hard, man. And then what happens is the enthusiasm from the beginning of the process starts to fade out. You forgot why you started. All you could think about is what's in front of you right now. All you could think about is that next grueling step. And you forget the purpose of why you started. What happens when you start to feel like a grind and things get grueling and they get gritty and they get tough and it gets harder to move through the process every single day? What happens then?
If you allow yourself to get mad, get angry, who's winning?
They start to ask, why is this so hard? They start to ask, why is this so hard for me? And they think it's just them, and they think the whole fucking universe is coming down on them. We all feel that way. We all have times of frustration. We all have times of anger. We all have times of why me? Why is this so hard for me? When you start feeling that massive frustration, that massive anger, that massive irritation and massive stress, you are about to have a breakthrough. You are about to move through an area that most people can't make it through. And you've just got to keep moving. Because when you make it through that area, that's when shit gets fun. That's when you say, oh shit, man, I'm actually doing this. Things are the hardest right before they get better. Things are the most frustrating right before they get better. And it's hard to remember that when you're going through it. But they are, and this is part of the process. And all of us go through these little curves. It's the ones who understand that things are going to improve and keep focused on the end result that make it through these curves.
All those horrible situations, they prove really that humans can withstand almost unimaginable stress. Which meant to me that I could too. And you can. And the first step for me is doing that, taking that look to gain some perspective And then in order to gain perspective, you got to do something that we already talked about. You've got to detach. You've got to detach from the problems or the stress that you're experiencing so that you can get that perspective of them. Now, there's a couple different types of stress. Now, if it's something that you can control that's causing you stress, well, why aren't you getting control of it? Generally, it's a lack of discipline. So you gotta have the discipline to grab control and make it happen. And when I say you need discipline for that, what that means is these stresses that you're avoiding, they're not going to go away if you avoid them. So take the discipline to face the stressful situation. Get ahead of it. Don't be afraid of it. Now, there's also stress that's caused by things that you cannot control. So if you can't control something and you can't get control of it, you have to at least embrace what you can. Why are you going to worry about it? Why are you going to stress about it? If there's something that's completely beyond your control, you've got to detach from it and not. Let yourself get stressed about it. And on top of that, if it's something that you can't control, how can you look at it in a different light? How can you see it in a way that you could actually take advantage of it? How can you take that stress and make it into some kind of ally? You know, the chaos of combat is something that I couldn't control, but I had to embrace it so I could try and figure out how to take advantage of it. So when it comes to stress, don't fight it. Turn it on itself and use it. use it. Use it to make yourself sharper and more alert. And use it to make yourself think more and learn more and get better. And use that stress as a catalyst to make yourself better.